Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
Tell the tackle, take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, you drive down the first man who is inside. Pull back and tell him to take the first man outside the offensive tackle. No one goes. Go right by them and field inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. So look at this play. What we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Packers Total Access post-game show. You can find us on packernet.com. You can find me on Twitter at Packers_access as I get my notes together here. I'm joined alongside Tim, live in Green Bay. We got Emilio in Tennessee. The Packers drop another one today, 24-10 to the Minnesota Vikings. Tough game to watch. It's hard to believe that the offense had so many opportunities there in the fourth quarter to just try to get anything together. And we'll cover it all from start to finish here, like how the game flow kind of unraveled, all that good stuff. We'll talk about the players that did show up and play their part, and we'll talk about those who fell short. And really the goal here tonight is to try to get a little bit better understanding of what happened, why it happened, and then also what did we learn from this game, right? What did we learn? And it's funny, I asked him that. I said that the theme tonight is what did we learn from this game? And he said, I don't think they learned anything. No, I mean us. Now, I know they didn't learn anything. They continue to do the same thing week in and week out. And I got to be real. We'll go to the chat here in a second. I just want to go around the horn real quick. But the first thing that stood out to me there in the first quarter, Aaron Jones just not getting the ball is just baffling to me. I mean, you put him in a double sidecar pony package, flex him out with motion, and then give the ball to A.J. Dillon. It's like, why are we refusing to run Aaron Jones? I think if I remember correctly, I've got it listed here somewhere. Aaron Jones ended up with 7 carries for 29 yards. So he averaged 4.1 yards a carry, only got the ball 7 times. To put that into perspective, A.J. Dillon got it 6 times for only 11 yards. But with that being said, Tim, initial thoughts, buddy?
Uninspiring, undisciplined, unmotivated, sloppy, poor execution, all phases of the game. Special teams killed us today. Our defense let us down at times today. Our offense, I guess I'll say dumpster fire. We can officially say dumpster fire now because it's not looking good. I'm trying to find the positive. There were a couple bright moments where the team kind of made me think for a minute we might sneak back into this one. But you just shot yourself in the foot too many times today. Every time we had an opportunity, we blew it or we set ourselves back. So whether it's procedural penalties, like you said, poor personnel groupings at time, poor decision-making. With our quarterback. Yes, with other guys too, So it's just, I almost want to say we're starting to see a regression. It's like the heck with are we improving? I mean, are we regressing as a team is something that I'm, coming away from this one, scratching my head kind of.
Yeah. And people have already chosen their sides on Twitter, and it's hilarious. I've been tagged in so many tweets today talking about how these receivers are dropping the ball and they're not helping their quarterback. And it's led by one media member, and that's okay. Everybody's got the right to their opinion, but I keep somehow getting tagged in it. And Nick the Realtor kind of hits on it. He said, Clayton, let's hit it. Why not get ahead of the sticks? Team can't tackle and decision-making sucks. Sick of people cherry-picking the 4 drops. Generally speaking, Jordan is a dumpster fire. Done. Somebody tagged me in a tweet talking about the throw to Christian Watson at the end, and he's like, another drop when I'm going, it was triple coverage. He threw the pass into triple coverage. And because the receiver somehow, some way gets 2 hands on the ball, the receiver just dropped it. I'm glad you're not writing the articles, my friend, is all I got to say. But, Emilio, what's your initial thoughts? I know you're down there. You've been holding it down at B-Dubs.
Yeah.
Down there on I Kill You. But what's going on with you, man? What's your initial thoughts?
That was, like Tim said, absolutely undisciplined, brutal. Like I was saying yesterday or the other day, man, if someone jumps off sides, everyone runs. I'm about to start seeing Matt have the guys run sprints on the sideline because it looks like it looks like a first week high school out there. You're still getting through the steps.
Yeah, definitely. It's tough, man. We knew there'd be growing pains, but there's some of this stuff. It's just, again, I just don't feel like the organization, the team, or anybody's doing any favor to the team.
Forget to drink our milk, man. It's not like we're growing or anything. I don't know what's going on.
Didn't drink our milk. Did you hear that, Tim?
I'll tell you what. If this is my football team, if I'm the head coach, none of these guys got off tomorrow. Nobody. Everybody. We're coming in and we're going. We got another game at home in a few days. Is my attitude, and we have to go forward. And that starts immediately. We need to start preparing because, again, I don't know. They didn't look ready to play today, boys, at all. They really didn't, and it showed. And I think that there's a cultural thing going on, man. Why are we down 3 scores and I got sideline shots of people smiling? Why are people smiling?
It's crazy
when you're losing, and why are you getting cooked by a rookie receiver, Mr. Alexander, and you're still yapping your gums all day while you're getting cooked? Like there's something wrong. There's something fundamentally wrong in this locker room right now, and these guys better figure it out. Because I'm the most positive fan alive probably out there, and my patience is super thin right now because when you see that, and then here's the other thing. Coach Lombardi always said, when you score, act like you've been there. Now, certainly when you finally score and you're still down multiple scores in a game, I don't need excessive celebrations after you do your job. Like there's something fundamentally wrong in this locker room, and there's no excuse for it, man. We expect more. We have a high standard here, and guys need to play up to what it means to be a Packer. You start playing like Green Bay Packers again, and playing as a unit and playing discipline and coming ready to play is what we want to see. So I say no days off till we get it together. That's what I say.
Yeah. Godsmack AR69 with the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. We appreciate you supporting the stream. He said there should be mandatory circus music playing at Lambeau every time the offense takes the field. Clown emoji. Man, it was tough. And I still had people bashing the defense. And I'm going, bro, give up 10 points in the first half. And the offense did nothing. I mean, I gotta take a peek real quick here. I gotta see what the time of possession was because it had to been. I'm sure we kind of caught up there at the end, seeing what the defense was doing in the fourth quarter, constantly getting the ball back to the offense. But so Minnesota had the ball 36 minutes and 22 seconds. The Packers had it 23:38. So wow. 13 minutes more of possession time. You see it every single week. And the people that refuse to admit that it's the offense, they immediately go to, well, that's them long drives that Joe Barry's defense has given up. Bro, I mean, I don't know what else you expect from the defense when they're on the field the entire first half. Again, what did we end up coming away with? 3 points, and that was just because there was a penalty, right? Because we actually missed the field goal.
Yep.
So that's tough, man. It's very, very tough. Let's see. We got another super chat. United Bates. I know it's Halloween, but can somebody tell Myers he doesn't have to block ghosts? Jair needs GPS. He seems as lost as the game plan. Jair had a rough one today, boys. And then when he finally made a play, he gets up and almost gets a personal foul called on him because he's running that jaw, like you were saying, Tim. So I'm going to give you guys my notes per quarter, okay? Let's start with the first quarter. Offense, I just put absolutely nothing. I have nothing else to say. Now, you guys notice that as soon as they went down by a few scores, they start spreading it out, and all of a sudden, here we go down the field. Imagine if you've got that game plan early in the game, right, and you get out of the condensed sets, and you're spreading the field out, and you're moving the ball. Imagine how many field goals they would have kicked in the first quarter, right? Because obviously there at the end, you run out of real estate. You can't get it in the end zone for whatever reason. But if you're doing that in the first half and you're stacking up 3, 6, 9 points, it's a whole different ball game at the end. I mean, it really is. So it's tough, man. But, everything you said there, Bates, Myers too. Myers, in one of my notes, Tim, I've got Myers tackled Jordan Love when he was trying to scramble. Did you see that? Like,
No, I must have missed that one.
bro, he literally, he's just out there kind of blocking no one, right? And Jordan, first read, second read, third read, nothing there, goes to scramble. And all of a sudden you see this big body slide over and hit him like he's trying to block air. And it was Josh Myers. I'm like,
unbelievable.
It's crazy, man.
But he's playing the best football of his career, though.
And that right there too. Seriously, all jokes aside, that comment right there, it's another culture thing. When you when you talk to the media, you're talking to your players. That's head coaching 101. That's Bill Walsh 101. Yep. That's Brian Billick 101. That is Bill Belichick 101. When you get in front of the media, you're not talking to the media. You are talking to your team, right? And to stand up there and go, well, I think he's playing good. Imagine a offensive lineman being one of the 5 worst centers in the entire league at run blocking. And then your message to him, again, not to the media, to him, your message to him is, I think he's playing the best football of his life. It's just, it's absolutely mind boggling, man. It is. Let's see, Mike Hebring with the super chat. This offense is awful. 10 ain't it. The D ain't it. Appreciate you, Mike. Thanks for chiming in, buddy. So as far as the defense, again, it wasn't perfect. I think it's right there in the middle where they've been all year, probably around that 15 to 17 range. But I'm sorry, you're not that you're trying to, Mike, but no one's going to convince me the defense is the biggest problem on this team right now. This offense is in absolute shambles.
Not when there's 100 yards of penalties.
What's that, Emilio?
I said not when there's 100 yards of penalties.
Like, dude, it's insane. It's absolute insanity.
I think what you're seeing with the defense right now is a defense that is finally starting to feel the heat and that pressure of constantly having to be on the field during these games. Mm-hmm. And, it's a great point that you brought up is, a long, sustained drive by the offense that ends in a field goal or ends in a punt, hopefully, or, we find a way to get it done, that bend but don't break mentality sometimes. But man, if you have to go right back out there, and then you're out there again for 8 minutes, 10 minutes, these long drives, any defense is going to start to crack a little bit. And we saw that a little bit today. We saw our defense kind of fragmenting at times, and it was costing us. Yeah.
And let's see if I can say this right. Togrel Askarov with the super chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Said, our screen game is the worst I've ever seen. Did you guys see the play action boot throwback screen again? It popped up again. Today they hit it. I hope they're happy. They finally hit one. But it's just, man. And again, you're trying to do all that out of the condense, then widen the field play side. And it just, I just want to see them spread the freaking field out. If they load the box, pass it. If they kind of play coverage, put 2 on the shelf out of that spread look, run inside zone between the tackles, take what they give you.
We did that a couple times today. And Jonesy picked up 6-8 yards, slashing up through the middle. And then, of course, what happens? We get away from it. It's immediately gone, and we don't see it again. I don't understand it.
So first quarter notes, again, offense nothing. Jair burnt by Addison over and over and over. And then I put Quay drop pick. That's another example right there of this defense being in the perfect spot to make a play early in the game, right? And no one was, more upset than Quay Walker. I promise you that. I mean, he was absolutely gutted when he dropped that interception. But again, can't put it on Joe Barry. He literally called up the perfect play, completely fooled Kirk Cousins. They talked about on the broadcast. Kirk Cousins turned around from the play action, was not expecting Quay there. Great play call, dropped interception. I mean, it's there's nothing else you can do in that regard. Go ahead, Emilio.
No, you're fine. Sorry, I was just trying to switch over to the computer. One sec.
Oh, you're good. Take your time, man. Let's go to the chat here real quick, see what they're saying. We're pretty backed up too, Tim. Well, we got us another super chat. Let's see here. Let me go to this first, and then we'll get back to the chat. Hopefully I did say it right. Or first of all, the Badger Trio. Thank you for the super chat. He said, no points in the red zone 2 times. Ugly look. Yeah, and again, if you're referring to in the fourth quarter, the game is still kind of a blur to me. You know, I like to go back and watch it, but if you're referring to there in the fourth quarter, you know, they're trying to get 2 touchdowns. So, you know, I think we all feel safe saying, okay, they would have had 6 points there, bare minimum, right? But unfortunately, you're trying to get in the end zone and just kept getting stopped. I've seen a lot of inaccuracies from Love. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but thank you for the super chat, Badger Trio. And then we got Togrel again says, main question is if Dylan blackmailing LaFleur is Dylan blackmailing LaFleur somehow, because ain't no way he is a legit running back, even for NFL standards. Today he looked rough at times running the ball, but at the same time, when he's in there, guys, they know what's coming, right? And I think that's why we hit on a couple plays, Tim, in the passing game too, Dylan, is because they were just let them have it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to see that he was back on the field after whatever he did. He tweaked his back or something there after one of those catches. But you're right. In the flat and underneath, he was just running open on a lot of these. And you saw, you know, out of that Minnesota defense, we saw Harrison Smith do exactly what we thought he was going to do all day. And, you know, I don't know, just a tough one, man. I really, really thought this was a potential get right game for us, and we just crapped the bed. We just crapped the bed today.
Yeah, I agree, man. I feel like we've had get right games for a month now, Tim. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's tough. It's definitely tough. Let's see here. Chris in the chat says, I cannot believe after 3 years of time together, Goot and Matt LaFleur thought Love was ready. That's the part that's discouraging to me. You know, going into this season, one of the things I said was I've got confidence in Love because they're not going to trade a 4-time MVP unless they know Love is the guy. They're not going to eat over $40 million in dead cap this year if they don't think Love is the guy, right?
Right.
They're not going to refuse to bring in a veteran receiver if they don't think Love is the guy, right? And with all that being said, right now it seems like Love isn't the guy. So I don't know, man. It's tough. And then Chris N also says Goot and Matt LaFleur should be on the hook for this. I don't think Matt LaFleur should be personally. Well, I'll take that back, Chris. I think I understand your point. You know, it's Matt LaFleur's job to what do we say, develop Jordan Love, right? And that has not happened. There's no doubt about it. And the thing is, like, I don't think Love is trash like many people in the chat are saying, okay? I respectfully disagree with that take. But when you're willing to move on from one of the best to someone who at this point, I would – am I being too mean here, Tim, saying that I think Jordan Love is below average at this point?
At this point, I think that's fair.
You think it's fair?
I think that's fair to say, especially, you know, case in point, the amount of development that we have, you know, invested in him. I also wonder if, you know, I hate to say it, but like, you know, Coach Clements came out of retirement a few years ago to come coach with Aaron, and surprisingly has decided to stay. So he's overseen, you know, the development of Jordan Love kind of off and on early in his career, and is now his quarterback's coach now. Why are we not seeing, if anything, we're not seeing any improvement. We're seeing regression, it seems like, at times.
Yeah, for sure. We got the head coach at the podium. Let's go. You guys confirm you can hear this, and let's see what he's got to say.
To not be able to find a way to win.
Where it can't just be young guys making mistakes, and these are things that
we're not even talking that game, young guys game. We're focused on just whoever's out there. The expectation is the same. So, you know, we've played 8 games now, or 7 games, whatever it is. I'm not interested in that. I think that's an excuse. We'll never do that. We're just going to continue to find ways to try to keep improving, and it starts in practice. And you get a good week of practice, then you go out and play well. And I do think the practices have been, you know, competitive and such like that. But you know, we're not obviously getting the results that anybody wants.
What prompted you to go to Yash there in the second quarter?
I just felt like we needed a change.
How do you address all these things at once? If you emphasize one or two things, you get what you emphasize. How do you address them all?
Well, I think certainly the lack of disciplined play, and that's paramount, because it doesn't matter if what you're doing, if we're getting called for things, like we got to clean it up. There was, we get holding penalties or whatever it is, false start penalties, backs us up. We already know get back on track situations have been very tough for us. Defensively, there were a couple penalties. I know one was on a critical third down where you get called for roughing the passer. So we just, it's never one person, it's never one guy. It just collectively as a whole, we got to look each other in the eye and we got to demand better, and we need to get better.
All right, that was let me hit that. That was head coach Matt LaFleur, obviously meeting with the media. I didn't realize that Yash even came in. Did you guys know that?
I noticed that.
Did you?
That was right after Rasheed Walker gave up the sack on Love to the backside. Like, he got completely beat by the simplest hand technique move and just was roasted.
After a chip too, right after a chip from AJ Dillon, he had all the time in the world to set up and get his hands out, and just one little arm swoop, and he got absolutely dusted. I texted you, I was like, he got absolutely roasted on that play.
Yep. And Jay Love, I don't know how. I'm glad he's still alive. I mean, that could have been really bad. It could have been really bad, guys.
That's the line of the night. I'm glad he's still alive.
And credit to Matt LaFleur. I mean, a change was made immediately. Well, I mean, finally.
Hey, that's what we've been asking for.
Yeah,
yep.
Absolutely.
And then they went back. They went back to Rasheed later in the game, and then he false starts on us. In a clutch play. It's just a lot, like I say, shooting ourselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Rookie mistakes, just goofy mistakes. I don't know, man.
He'll be running extra after practice Monday, that's for sure.
But see, do we have that? Do we have that in our, like, I believe Coach Bisaccia is capable of that, but like, I don't know if Matt LaFleur's that dude. Is he that dude that's going to go run these guys and get, kind of get in their face a little? I don't know.
I don't think so. But if they ended up scoring on that kick return for a touchdown, Rich would have had the guys run right then, I feel like. He would have been one of the coaches that had him running on the sideline. Like, dude, you cannot give up a kickoff return for a touchdown in that kind of situation.
5 yards deep into the end zone, too. The guy brought it. Like,
Keyshawn had like 4 chances, and he got to the 30. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Definitely.
Right after we just scored a touchdown, too. Finally get a touchdown, and that was your response.
And don't even get me started on that offensive series. Chalk Talk is going to be brutal because he wanted to go for 3 sidecar handoffs to the inside zone for AJ Dillon. Love didn't pull it any time, and then the last play we runs a whip route to Romeo Dobbs with 4th and 2. I mean, it was ugly.
Mm-hmm. Josh Martin.
I'm surprised we didn't see a read option there. That would have been a great time, maybe 3rd or 4th down, a read option, and he just walks in. And I couldn't believe they didn't call it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like on some of those zone reads, that's exactly what it is, Tim. What it is Love is choosing to not pull the ball out of the belly.
Yeah.
So,
is he not reading that edge defender then? Is he not seeing the crash or what?
This is where I give you the most boring answer, like I always do, and say, I need to go watch the tape because that's the only way you can really tell. And even then, there's a chance that, Matt calls it, right? Matt makes the call, and then on the headset says, hey, just give it to AJ, right? Or give it to Jonesy rather than run the read. That we don't know for sure, but typically you can watch the tape, read the defensive end, read Love's eyes, that type of thing. So, Josh Martin, thank you for the super chat. He said one more step closer to Marvin Harrison Jr. All right, so things are, and thank you so much for the super chat there, Josh. Sorry I overlooked it just a second ago, buddy. The chat is wild today. I will say this. I'm noticing this about the chat. There's a pretty even amount. It seems even. Some are saying the receivers are dropping balls, and others are saying it's Jordan Love's fault. I would have to agree with both.
I would just say everybody's correct, and that's so depressing because we're all. I mean, it's true, right? I mean, they're underthrown, overthrown. They're late getting out, and then there are the ones that we're hitting guys in the hand. I know. Tay Wicks wants that one back. He had one that he pretty much caught, and I just don't know how he didn't come down with it. But that would have been great. But yeah, we had drops and we had bad throws. Both can be true.
Yeah, he short-armed a couple, and And like even on that last one to Christian Watson, when he was double covered, he caught it. It hit his hands and it got punched out. That's a good defensive play. And my thing was if we're trying to get a penalty on that, if we're trying to throw it for a pass interference, we need to actually have the receivers fight back to the ball or throw it to the outside shoulder or something to actually give them a chance on it, because we're not getting the calls. They're young. They're not fighting through. We need something else if that's the offense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Let's see here. Is that the right one?
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Okay. Togrel, thank you for the super chat. He said, everybody blaming Love, but he played good in my opinion. Some of his throws are just pure beauty. Maybe I'm just delusional, but I blame 90% on play call and Mike, maybe saying and Matt LaFleur. I have to respectfully disagree. When I'm looking at the placement of some of those passes, a lot of them are coming out late. The one to Dobbs on the sideline that will probably be counted as a drop, it was high. It hit Dobbs' hands. He should catch it. But watch the timing of that throw. Dobbs has to kind of hold up. He's got to lag back, then try – and by that point, he's thinking, okay, is the ball going to be on the outside shoulder? He's prepared to drag his feet, and then it comes out high, right? Mm-hmm. Again, I would put a negative on both there, in my opinion. Nick McSwain, pretty cool. Been a member for a month. Appreciate you supporting the stream, buddy. You are awesome. And let's see here. Mike Hebring with the super chat says, won't have to worry about seeing Cousins in the second game. Yeah, I believe he popped his Achilles is what it was looking like. So you hate to see that for anybody. Looked like Eric Sutherland said the same thing. Cousins' calf blew up like Rodgers, I'm guessing Achilles. So, yeah.
Only chance we have is when their starting QB goes down.
Yeah, no doubt.
We still gave up a third and 11 conversion to their backup quarterback, though. So
after a strip sack and an offensive possession right there. Oh,
yep.
No doubt. Godsmack AR69, thank you for the super chat. He said, we need Mike Wall to coach technique to the offense. Adam Stinkievich is clueless, and so is Lafart. All right. Offensive coaching clown car. Embarrassing. I'll tell you this, the Adam Stinovich OC experiment has gone about as bad as it possibly could, right? And you guys seen in Chicago, you now have Luke Getsy is really starting to get that offense going. I didn't watch the game today. I'm strictly going off of what we seen last week. And then obviously Justin Fields had a couple of real strong weeks as well, right? So, Steno's not looking like the pick at OC, but I'm afraid that if they keep going in this direction and it's really this bad, and again, this is where man, the texts I get are hilarious. This is where I lost my train of thought. One of Mandy's friends messaged me and said the Packers are acting like little bees today. They saw the Vikings and are crapping green and gold. Appreciate that, Cherie. Thank you for watching the game and giving me your take. Always nice to hear that. Guys, people are watching, that's for sure. And, anytime you make that kind of shift like Goody did in building this roster, I mean, the thing that bothers me the most, I keep saying it week in and week out, is where the heck is Brian Gutekunst? Why is he not having to stand in front of the media, the way Matt is? It's tough because he's the one who put that product out there. And listen, guys, I'm the Packer fan that was fighting back. When there were media members, I won't mention the names, but they were projecting this going into the season. Everything we're seeing right now, they were projecting this. And I was the guy going, you really think player personnel and player evaluation better than Brian Gutekunst? Like, get away from me with that crap. I'm eating some crow right now, boys. That's all I know. That's all I know to say. Let's see here. Josh Martin with the super chat. LaFleur is limited in play calling because of terrible quarterback play. He can call a great play, but if the quarterback can't be accurate, it's not going to look good. You've seen that today. You've seen that again today. I'm not saying that LaFleur called a great game, although I want to go back and watch it. But there was a lot of plays left on that field, man. And again, the Aaron Jones drop early. Some people were, I think it was on the first drive there in the flat. Many people were hit him in the hands. He should catch it. I agree. But also, look how late that ball came out. Yeah. Like, you can't throw that flat that late. You cannot do that. That's the timing aspect, and I don't exactly know what he's seeing. But my second quarter notes, Tim, I want to get your take and see if any of this triggers any thoughts or bad memories for you. And again, Josh Martin, thank you so much for the super chat. I hope these are coming in order. I'm trying to keep up with them, but the chat gets a little wonky when we get a lot of people in here. Second quarter, I put ton of penalties, Love late and off, and then Wentz spread, had success both running and passing. So it kind of goes right back to what we've talked about with the running, both the running game and the passing game opening up when they go 11 personnel and actually spread it out a bit. But anything trigger in your mind there, Tim?
Yeah, no, the penalties for sure. I'm going to keep saying it. Shot herself in the foot constantly throughout this game. It's just, you can't do it. You can't expect to make that many mistakes in those situations and it not just destroy your chances at winning a football game. And in a lot of respects, we played ourselves out of this game repeatedly today with just stupid mistakes. But, the second quarter didn't look much better than the first. And to even just, by some miracle leave at halftime with 3 points on the board was even, that was even basically luck. We lucked out on a penalty after a shank field goal and we got another crack at it. So, I mean, they look like a poorly coached high school team at times today, honestly. They really did.
Yeah, the penalties. Let's take a look at that real quick. And then, Amelia, I want to get your take. Penalties-wise.
11 for 99 or 11 for 95.
Let's see here. Looking right now. Penalties, 11 for 99. That's a whole touchdown, boys, is what that is. That's a whole touchdown. That's tough. That's pretty darn tough. Let's see. Stephen Smith in the chat here said, consistent play is needed. Why so many passes in double coverage? Timing's off. Seems like he goes in with the mindset on a play, has lost his vision, it seems. I think you make a good point there, Stephen. It does seem like he's going into play going, I'm throwing the ball here. It kind of feels like that. And did you guys notice the wobblers?
Yeah, a couple I saw, yep.
I think I counted 4 or 5. Where it's like if there's a wobbly pass, especially if he's not being hit, obviously that don't count. But with a fairly clean pocket and throwing the ball, if it comes out wobbly, I try to make a notch on the paper. I think I've got 4 notches on the first paper. I don't have that page in front of me. I believe there was 4 wobblers that I seen today.
Right.
And that's Emilio, man. That's football 101. Listen, you don't have to throw a perfect tight spiral every single play, but when you got a clean pocket and the ball comes out wobbly, you cannot expect it to go where you're trying to put it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And even when he was stepping up in the pocket, a couple of those near the end there, he short-armed that one to Romeo that it just – I don't know where he's – it's a clean lane. It's only a 15-yard pass, but it just comes up short. I don't know what's up with that. So it's tough.
Yeah. Carly Ray in the chat says, and Clifford has played a lot more games than Love. Why wouldn't they give him a chance? All right. Now, I'm going to hit on a couple more of these, and I'm going to come back to that, Carly Ray, I promise you. Jeff Schultz says, Clifford is nobody. He has only played against guys no longer in the league after cutdowns, and you think he can do anything against NFL starters? Ugh, clown take. Well, listen, Jeff, I'm going to tell you this right now, buddy. Nobody's take is a clown take in here, all right? So watch your words, all right? Choose your words wisely in here because that's not what this chat's about. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. If you think you know so much about football, then go somewhere else to talk about it, all right? But you're not going to talk down to people in the chat. We can all agree to disagree, and that's just the way it's going to be. If you don't like it, then there's the door. It's that simple. As far as Clifford, it does bother me that some people think it's just absolutely unbelievable to even think about entertaining Sean Clifford being, going in the game and playing quarterback, especially when, you get in a situation where your offense has no spark whatsoever. Do I want to see it? No. I want to see Jordan Love in as many spots as possible this year. I want to know exactly what we've got at the end of the year. What I don't want to see happen is pull him, put him, put Clifford in, and then even if whether Clifford fails or not, if Clifford takes off and he's a great quarterback, awesome. You got your Brock Purdy, right? If he doesn't, it's still in the back of your mind. Well, I wonder what Jordan would have done in that situation, right? When they go to Clifford, if they ever do, that's going to be the decision. He's now the quarterback moving forward, and if he's not the guy, you're going to look to replace him and try to find the next one. But that's kind of my take on it. Tim, how do you feel? Do you still feel the same way about that whole quarterback situation? Do you still want to see Love or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, if you really want to bail on him, you might as well trade him. Because you're not. You've alluded to this. How often do you get away from a guy and then go back to him? And then even if you do go back to him, what is what does that say to your team, or what is that saying to that player? So no, you're going to stick with your guy. If he's healthy and ready to go, you're going to week in, week out, and you're going to let him try and play his way out of this and hopefully improve. It's just hard for us because we haven't seen it. We are having the same conversation every week. Like, this is a trend, and we want to have different conversations. We want to get different takeaways. We want to see things different, and we're not with him. So, but Sean Clifford is, I'm sure, a great backup quarterback. You don't want to see your backup unless you absolutely need him, and that's usually due to unforeseen injury or something. So we don't want that to happen. We have to just kind of ride this out. This is where we're at. We're almost halfway through the first full year of his development as a starter in the NFL, and we don't know, will there be a second year? I think we owe it to him and ourselves that if we have this much invested in this quarterback, we got to let him finish this year out and see if he can turn it around and trend upward as we close out the season. But right now it doesn't look good. Doesn't mean that that's how it's going to end for him and for this team.
Yeah, and I honestly think the stats are going to kind of favor Jordan a little bit today when it's all said and done. And what I mean by that is, like, Emilio, if you look at the stats, right, and I'll read them off to you guys real quick. I've got them pulled up right here. If you look at the stats, 24 of 41, right, not great. Again, you're under 60%, I believe. 229 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, rating of 72.1. When you look at that, immediately you think, if someone's throwing 41 passes, let me put that in perspective. Kirk Cousins, who I got bashed for saying that if he was the quarterback of this Packers team, they would probably be closer to 5-1, right? And people are like, "You're crazy. Kirk Cousins is trash." That's what was in the YouTube comments earlier today, or when I woke up this morning. He only threw 31 passes and had 274 yards passing. So, but Emilio, same question for you before we move on, man. And Jeff, I want to say this, Jeff Schultz in the chat. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate that, man. Again, no hard. It's all good. Everybody gets heated in here, but we just want to make sure that we nip all that in the butt, man, because you and I probably agree on 99% of the takes, but so it's all good. But appreciate you being the bigger man there, man. Thank you. Emilio, quarterback. What do you think, buddy?
Clifford, the only time I want to see him is if it's a blowout and it's us blowing the team out by like 40. Besides that, I really think Love needs the rest of the season. The only other chance he would come in is if we're getting stomped 70-20, like Miami versus the Broncos, and you throw him in for like 3 plays, and then he's gonna throw 2 deep bombs in the corner, and everyone's gonna be excited. Oh man, he did it! But we were already down 50 to begin with, so I don't think that is where we need to go. Love just needs every bit of playing time he can get, and if he's not the guy, we can decide that at the end of the year. But again, the amount of money not on the field is brutal. I'm so happy that Campbell was out there and Jones was out there, but even still, with everybody healthy and back out, we're still 80 deep and people not on the field. So that it's on Good. It's on Matt. Matt's working with what he's got. But I mean, imagine if you had another, you drop 20 on a guard or something like that, like the Bears did. We could do something like that, but we just don't have the funds.
Yeah, right. Definitely. Paul Robertson in the chat said, "Is it really Goody's fault? I think he gets talented players, but what they lack is polish and focus on the details. That's player development and is under LaFleur's jurisdiction." I don't think that's a hot take at all, but my rebuttal always to that is, how do you know they're good players? Like, they're only as good as what they put on tape, right? Now, if you're saying, well, they were good in college, okay, cool. That, there's been a lot of players that have come into the league that were great in college and they absolutely stunk it up when they got to the league. Me, it's when, not that you're doing this, Paul, but I get a lot of pushback, a lot of arguments where people say, well, they got first round talent all over this. Okay, that means Goody had a first round grade on. That doesn't make them automatically good at football. Like, it doesn't make them a true first round talent. People miss on picks all the time, right? And again, that's been the argument with Jair Alexander the last couple of years. Well, now we look up and here Jair is thinking the joint up again. Like, today was bad, guys. When we go back and watch the tape, there was one play that I know he blew at least 3 or 4 coverages, and one being the wheel route touchdown to Jordan Addison, right, where he literally just got outran to the end zone is all that was. Jair wasn't faked out or anything. He literally got foot race to the end zone. Jair's supposed to be one of the most dynamic, one of the most quick, speediest corners in the league. We're a good ways away now, Tim, from people saying they want Jair following the number 1 wide receiver. But Godsmack AR69 in the chat with the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate it. He said LaFleur game plan. Let's go for 100 penalty yards. Maybe it's some kind of reverse psychology there. Let's see. Ian's asking how many drops today. I don't know, Ian. Let's see if we can find that stat real quick. It doesn't show in the box score, so we'll probably have to wait until tomorrow to get the drops. There were several drops, but what do you constitute as a drop? To me, I look at it different. If, like, let's say the Christian Watson in the end zone drop, right? Hit him in both hands, didn't it? Bro, he was being triple covered, right? Like, I'm sorry, you're not going to convince me, okay, that's Christian Watson's fault. Not that you are, but many people go to it like that. If it hits their hands, they need to catch it. Don't care. There's a hurricane blowing through the stadium. It's on the receiver if it hits their hands. I have a hard time with that, man, because you can't throw in a triple coverage. You just can't, man. Go ahead.
How about the one to Jaden Reed where Reed basically caught it, but he also caught the forearm of the defender at the same time, and then this ball.
And why did he catch the forearm, Tim?
Because of the defense. It was good defensive play.
The ball was underthrown too.
Yeah, well, that's true. If that ball is deep and over the top, we don't have this problem.
Exactly. That's what we mean by that. And again, if the argument is, well, okay, granted it wasn't a perfect throw, guys, that's the difference between good and great in the NFL.
Yeah.
Are those guys that can thread the freaking needle, can put it. Kirk Cousins did it today. Like he wasn't great, right? I mean, I don't think he was great, but you see his accuracy and then you watch Jordan Love throw the ball. There's a big difference. Mm-hmm. And, some people immediately say, well, it's the inexperience. Okay, I got you. But, the accuracy issues, I'm having a hard time believing they're going to get fixed now. Because
it's almost like he's taking something off the throw when he needs to put something extra on it, and then he's throwing it too hard when he should be just feathering it in there.
That's called touch.
Yeah, his touch is like completely off kilter.
Yeah,
and I wonder if there's a little not panic. I'm not going to say the word panic, but if this overly unnecessary sense of urgency, maybe, and that's what's causing him to be a little flustered as he's throwing, and he looks out of rhythm, and he's late or he's early. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, you know who he reminds me of when he makes those type of throws, and not every throw. There's some throws I go, man, he looked like Aaron right there.
Mm-hmm.
But when he makes those throws that you're talking about, Tim, where it's like there's a ton of effort going into a pass where there's not a whole lot on it. Reminds me of Cam Newton the last couple of years in the league. Cam looked like he was throwing a fastball, and that ball would come out so wobbly and just off. You're seeing a little bit of that effect too. But, yeah, it's a tough look for sure. Third quarter notes. Quay, Owens, and Jair blown coverages. I think it was on one drive. I seen Quay blow a coverage where, if I remember correctly, I think it was either Rudy or Keyshawn passed the receiver over because they were in zone match, passed him over, and Quay got caught looking and then realized, oh, crap, and that was a crosser, right? Crossers absolutely annihilate the Fangio-style defense if you're not playing the proper technique in certain situations. The Owens blown coverage, and then the Jair, like I said, Jair had blown coverages all day long, man. It's going to be tough. I would not be surprised if Jair grades out in the 50s on PFF. If he grades out in the 60s, in my opinion, it's just because of his name. I'm just telling you. So that, and then eventually I said spreading out 11 personnel. That was another thing that popped in the third quarter. They continued to spread out 11 personnel, and we were having success for sure. So let's go to the stats real quick.
Seems like the only success we have is when we run hurry up.
Yeah. Oh, and you know why? To me, it's not the hurry up aspect. It's because you're in 11 personnel and you're spreading things out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't think it's so much the defense. Oh, we've got them in an advantageous position. From our perspective, I think it's you got 11 personnel and you're making them cover every horizontal inch of the field rather than having everything condensed. That's just kind of how I see it. But stats-wise, Jordan Love was the leading rusher. He had 4 carries for 34 yards. Aaron Jones, 7 carries for 29 yards, 4.1 a carry. His long was 7. A.J. Dillon, 6 carries for 11 yards, only 1.8 per carry. So, and some people see that Aaron Jones stat, and their immediate argument will be, well, we were trailing. We weren't trailing on those first couple of possessions, and they refused to give the ball to Aaron Jones. It was crazy. I think it was two whole drives, and he only had 1 carry, I believe. Like, Tim, I can't make sense of it anymore, dude. I can't.
I can't either, and I wonder how he feels, honestly. Like behind closed doors. I'm sure if he was asked, in front of the media, he's going to say the right things. But you wonder deep down, how does it feel to work hard to get back every week dealing with this hamstring or whatever, and you're clearly the most talented player on this offense, and you're not being utilized. And when you are, you're being kind of like, I don't want to say misutilized or misused, but it's just, I wonder if we just throw caution to the wind, and what if we just fed him the rock? I've always been the first to tell you that you can't ride a back like that, but it's like, why not at this point, guys? Like, let's just run everything through him, and then let's see if that'll open things up for our receivers, soften up that secondary on these defenses.
And do it out of 11.
Yeah.
That's what gets me.
I tell you, I got excited for a second. I saw 21 today very quickly. We'll have to check. I think it was only once or twice I saw 21 personnel, and that was kind of cool. But yeah, man, I agree, dude. The 12 personnel kills me. Staying in 11 and spreading it out's the way to go.
Yep, definitely. Goose in the chat said, I will say I'm pleased with Quay's development. Him and Wyatt are looking like at least partial hits. I see the same thing with Wyatt. There was one play I had tagged in my notes where he washed out of his run gap, and that caused a big run, like a 9-yard run. But other than that, when it comes to getting after the quarterback, man, he's a monster. I think he's got a lot of upside for sure. Let's hit on the receiving stats real quick. Man, I thought Musgrave had more than that. That's wild. Jaden Reed led the way, 4 catches for 83 yards. He had 6 targets. A.J. Dillon, 5 catches for 41 yards. He caught all 5 of his targets. Christian Watson, 3 catches for 33 yards. He had 8 targets. That in itself might be the problem, trying to force the ball to Christian too. But 8 targets, only 3 catches, 33 yards. Dontavian Wicks, 2 catches for 28 yards, and he had 4 targets. Romeo Dobbs, 4 catches. Listen to this stat, Tim. 4 catches, 18 yards, and he had 9 targets. So between Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson, there were 17 targets. They combined for 7 catches, 7 for 17, and only 51 yards receiving from your top 2 receivers. And again, this is the thing that the media members were saying is it wouldn't hurt to have just a little bit of veteran leadership in that receiver room, right? You let Lazard walk, not that you would give him $10 million per. Randall Cobb was too old, and there were so many fans just laughing at the fact that Randall Cobb was on that roster. It's like, oh my God, the only reason he's here is because of Aaron. Like, as if we were just loaded at receiver, Aaron Jones, only 4 catches, 17 yards, 5 targets. Luke Musgrave, only targeted 3 times, but he had 2 catches for 9 yards. When are we going to start stretching? Emilio, this is for you. When are we going to start stretching the freaking field with Luke Musgrave? When you draft Luke Musgrave, you say, okay, what's his strengths? What are his weaknesses? His strength is he's got world-class speed, huge size, great hands, right? His weakness is he can't block. He couldn't block a bull in the butt with a mop. Like it's just not part of his game, right? Yeah. And we're throwing everything underneath the Musgrave. It makes no sense. But what do you think about any of that we just said?
That's not his game. He, like we were saying, he needs to be spread out, kick him out into the slot, and let him run some seam routes. Let him run some quick slants. He's a big target. Get it in, get it out of Love's hands quick. I don't understand why we keep trying that. If you want to get him the ball underneath, do like some fancy shovel play like they do on the Chiefs or something. Have him dip underneath and do a shovel underneath and then get in the ball with a little bit of space. Besides that, I don't think if you want to run a tight end screen, put him out wide and then have the receivers block and have him come in and do a bubble or something along those lines. He needs a little bit more space. He's got long legs. He looks like you say he's like Bambi on ice out there. He looks like, a giraffe, not knowing what legs first. And I mean, I feel like he's going to be good. Tight end's a tough place to play, and we're making him block 60% of the time probably. And like you said, it's not his game. If you want to block, if you want to throw the short game, bring in Kraft. But if he really wanted to run as much as he did and block as much as he did, we should have went back and gave Mercedes $1.2 million and hadn't come back and put him on the edge of the line and run, your 5 down and Mercedes as your extra offensive tackle. Or if he wants to get overloaded, start flipping if your tackles are that bad, start flipping them, start stacking, Yash and Tom on the right, or, bring Tom over to the left and let's go overload on one side and catch him quick and do something like that. If that's really where you're trying to get your hat game. Matt, he's thinking outside the box, but I think we need to have him think inside the box for a little bit, then we can get back out.
Right. Let's show us you can drive this Volkswagen before we give you the Maserati.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's just a lot going on, man. And now it's like he's constantly trying to make up for what has already happened during the season. Like he's always playing from behind. Paul Robertson in the chat said, Clayton, have you noticed any specific defenses that are giving Love the most difficulty, or is it just the mixing up of defensive looks that are giving him trouble? Excuse me. Nothing specific sticks out to me. The one thing I will say, going into this game, the condensed looks, I don't find myself going, man, this is on Love completely. It's like the play calling isn't doing any favors for him. Yes, there are receivers open. Yes, Matt is scheming receivers open, absolutely. But to me, the problem is how much has to go right to get to those looks, right? And in some cases, if someone does run the wrong route, now you go from read 1 to read 3 because you can't go to 2 because 1's interfering with 2. And there's a lot of that going on. But with that being said, the main issue I have with Love is the accuracy, and it's the lack of going through the progressions. In some cases, and there's other people that's broken down tape that have caught this too, and it's really what drew my eye to it was I've heard multiple people who I trust breaking down film say, why did he go there first? Why is he looking there first? Right. And so there's something off. Now, there's 3 different ways that you can read coverage, right, in the West Coast offense. And 2 of the most common are you're going true progression where it's ball snapped, number 1, number 2, number 3, check down, right? And it's just side adjustments. Number 1, number 2, number 3, check down. And then you got halves where you're basically splitting the field in half. You've got a route concept on this side. You got a route concept on that side. And if they show a 2 high look, right, middle field open, okay, you're going to this concept. That's a middle field beater. If they're showing 1 high middle field close, then you're going to go to that concept, which is a 2 high beater, right, or what have you. So that's I can't tell based off of his decision making if it's a true progression or if they're reading half, and that's a problem. And it tells me that he's inexperienced, and that is the thing that's going to come into play with you've got to see game time. You can't duplicate that in practice. You can't duplicate that in training camp, right? You've got to get that real game time to be able to run someone through the ringer and say, okay, can they handle this post-snap read? I'll talk about the 4 things that I think are most important with a quarterback: pre-snap read, post-snap read, accuracy, and quick release, right? And to me, the only thing Love has is a quick release when he throws like Aaron, not when he throws like Cam, because when he throws like Cam, it looks like it is a task, a big task too. So let's see here. 4th quarter notes, and we'll get ready to wrap this thing up. Gary had a huge penalty. I know many people thought it wasn't a penalty. I personally think it was. I mean, he hit him with his helmet, and he kind of landed on him too. I know it sounds silly to think a guy trying to sack the quarterback lands on the quarterback, Tim, but the rules are the rules. But he definitely hit him with his helmet. So Gary, huge penalty. We come out with that blocked field goal, man. How about our boy Carl Brooks? Carl Brooks is a gamer. He's a bit of a gamer, man. Game on the line, dude steps up, blocks the kick. And then the only other note I had was Love inaccuracies. He was very, very, very inaccurate in the 4th quarter. And again, some people would say receiver drops. In most cases, I think that he was pretty inaccurate with the football. But Tim, what do you think? 4th quarter, anything stick out to you? Anything about that we just said?
Yeah, the Rashawn penalty was that hurt us because that was a big moment in the game. Would have been huge if we just got the sack. And but and it's tough. We all know the rules and we don't like them, but we know what they are. And yeah, when you leave your feet like that, body weight on the quarterback, helmet to helmet action, they're gonna call that every time. You almost can't even get mad. You just have to understand this is how football is played now in the NFL. And it's tough. How do you hit a guy? I get it. It's hard to play defense. That's why I respect the defensive players so much, because a lot of them have to play this game with one hand tied behind their back, it seems, nowadays. So you got to give credit to them just for going out and trying to make these plays. And I think that's all Rashawn was doing. It wasn't dirty. He's just playing hard, finishing a play. So kind of a fluke thing there. But yeah, the inaccuracy, I think, that was in my notes too, inaccuracy. That's a constant theme here with Jordan Love. And I think at least half, if not more than half of that can be attributed to the timing. That it's either a progression read issue, or it's maybe he's not fully committed when he makes a read and he's kind of like haphazardly throwing these balls. But you want to be confident and get that ball out and get it out on time, because if we know anything about LaFleur's offense, the timing is critical. If you're out of sync or you're off rhythm at all, you're going to get that ball that's back shoulder when it's not supposed to be, or it's down at a guy's shoelaces when it's supposed to be on the numbers. So it's a timing thing that's affecting the accuracy. I really do, because when Jordan hits the top of the drop and throws in rhythm, those are some of the best balls that we see from him, honestly. So I think it's a timing issue.
Definitely. She said, Murph in the chat said, haven't seen no huddle outside a 2-minute drill since ... Can't find the memory. Shrugging emoji. Yeah, that's something that Matt LaFleur does not like. He doesn't like the muddle huddle. He doesn't like the up tempo. I don't know, man. At this point, you almost got to be willing to try just about anything, right? I mean, you can't just continue to do the same thing, man, and expect a different result.
Wildcat with Aaron Jones. Let's go.
I don't know about all that.
You said everything. We're going to try everything.
All right, let's see. We got
sorry.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Like Tim was saying, though, I mean, it's about that timing, and either he needs to be under 2 seconds and throw it, or he needs to hold it for 5 and use his legs to draw out a play. That's the only other time he was actually moving the ball. I mean, I know it was the end of they were playing, prevent defense, but the only other time he can get a big play, or we've gotten any type of big play, is when he extends the play with his legs like Rodgers used to do when he was young. So we either need that ball out in 2 seconds, or he needs to hold it for 4, not get sacked, and try to, draw something out, make the defense work in the secondary. Pressure picks, coverage sacks. So if we can get past the pressure and, the coverage starts breaking down, that's where that's where Love seems to be hitting those deep balls.
That comes down to what you said earlier too about these receivers needing to come back to the ball, knowing when you get to the top of a route, if it's not there, the play's not necessarily over.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of those we saw. Jordan was rolling out, purposely running parallel to the line of scrimmage, looking to extend and throw that ball, and he had to keep it and run because guys weren't coming back. They weren't.
And maybe he needs to keep running. Maybe he needs to turn into Justin Fields for half a season and see if the defense will start respecting him. And then, hey, we've got to respect his legs, so now we can actually throw it over the top, because nothing else is working. We might as well.
He not only rambled, but he rumbled and stumbled.
I'm telling you, man, when he ran into Josh Myers' ass cheek, I was like,
another Mark
so done with this game. Yeah, but it was like Myers was. I've got to go back and watch it. Watch Myers have made a fantastic play, and I just completely missed it. But the way I remember it in real time, because my eyes went from Love to who is that to, oh God, they ran into each other. I'm like, of course, it's number 71, right? Of course. Mike Hebring with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He said, after the early games, the Pack is now up to the 5th overall pick. Wow.
Yeah, Carolina
comes at you fast, don't it?
Yeah.
What'd you say, Emilio?
And Carolina won, so we're dive bombing it here. I started laughing at Bates's super chat he just sent over.
Yeah. And again, thank you so much, Mike. United Bates said, I I sent a DM to Matt LaFleur. Quote, I'm not telling my mom I love her until you win. Sorry, Mom. Take one for the team.
Jesus. Terrible.
Man, Mama Bates. Poor Mama Bates.
Oh, my goodness.
Whatever it takes, man. Thank you for the super chat, United Bates. We appreciate you, buddy. Cheesehead Murph says it is off platform and underthrown. I'm guessing he's talking about Watson. Yeah, okay, let's go back one. Casey Odom said Watson can't judge a ball. Maybe he's just used to seeing them all over the place in practice, just like the game, but maybe that should make him better at judging them at this point. And then I think Cheesehead Murph said it is off platform and underthrown. There was a lot of that, man, off platform and underthrown today. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the breakdowns, JT O'Sullivan, Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner, people kind of take out of context what he said. They immediately, he said, everybody's saying Jordan Love played bad. I'm not seeing it. Show me where it's at. And then he said, outside of a few throws on the last drive and some early. So he's basically saying he's inconsistent, but not as bad as some people are saying. We're just so, guys, listen, the reality is we're so used to seeing the absolute best at throwing a football. I mean, whether you liked Rodgers or not, whether you liked Favre or not, you can't go from a quarterback who many believe is the greatest thrower of the football in the history of the game, and then see one who's playing. I don't know if below average is fair. I would say average would probably be a fair assessment of Jordan. And it's tough, man. It's literally like it's night and day. It is. And again, Rodgers last year isn't even a good measuring stick because Rodgers was playing with a sore thumb. It still amazes me how many people won't mention that, but it's just like, wow, you guys really hate that guy, don't you? Smug Industries, thank you with the super chat, buddy. We appreciate you, man. He said the your turn, my turn, LaFleur does with Dillon and Jones drives me nuts. Doesn't take down and distance into account, just has them alternate drives. Tim, I think that's a pretty fair assessment, man. It doesn't feel like it's down and distance related. It just simply feels like, okay, you go out there this time. Now you.
That's why I got so excited when I saw 21 personnel and I saw them both out there. I was like, oh my gosh, here we go.
Yeah.
And then we did it like twice, and then that was gone.
And the first time we did it, we just simply motioned Aaron Jones out of the backfield and handed the ball. They just like, that was it. That was the big scheme. That was the plan. But yeah, Smug Industries, I agree, man. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me either, but it doesn't. Let's see here. Bill Ryan, my man Bill Ryan, haven't heard from you in a while, buddy. Good to hear from you. He said Matt LaFleur will never get a statue at Lambeau. It's not looking like it. It's not.
Boom, roasted.
Yeah, exactly. Not going to get a street named after you there, bud.
Before we get to that, and if Matt LaFleur wants to run the two backs, can we get Jordan under center and run old school T, and let's get him set off over the tackles, let them start coming downhill. Because if we keep running two backs in sidecar out of shotgun, you're gassing them both on the same play, and no one's actually respecting Jones enough to be like, oh, he's going to make a play out in the wing, or no one's respecting Dillon enough to come downhill and actually make a play running, an inside dive out of shotgun.
Yeah, no, it's very well said. The thing that I've noticed is I would venture to say it's probably 85% of the time that they're in pony package, which is the double sidecar, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon. They just motion Aaron and hand the ball to Dillon. Mm-hmm. It's like, they're watching tape too, Matt. Like they're
nothing besides gas them.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. You're making them both tired on the same play, and you're not gaining any yards. I'm gonna flash this up here real quick. Togrel, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. He said, "Where is the post clarity chatter? We need him." Thank you for the super chat. I want to respect you posting the super chat, but also you suckered me in the last time. Great little gullible Clayton down here, just thinking that everyone's all nice and clean in the chat. I will say, Togrel, you've created a what am I trying to think of here? What am I trying to say? The word. You've created a brand for yourself. All right. So now I know when Togrel does a super chat, look for the post clarity.
Yeah.
All right? the post blank clarity. So anyway, let's see what else we got here as we get ready to wrap up, guys. I think we pretty much covered everything. Oh, let's do the defense real quick. Casey, I'm going to come back to your chat, and then we're gonna wrap up. If you guys got any more super chats, get them in quick. We're gonna, like I said, try to get you guys out of here. All right, so defense, Devondre Campbell led the team with 14 tackles. Quay Walker had 10. Devondre also had a quarterback hit. Quay Walker had a pass defended as well. TJ Slayton, 9 tackles. Boys, I'm expecting TJ Slayton's grade to be strong. I'm thinking in the 70s, maybe even the 80s. I would be very, very surprised.
On that one run stuff, he was like in a 5-tech outside the tackle.
Yes.
And just blew him up. Absolutely blew him up.
Yeah, TJ Slayton seems to have turned the corner a bit, and that's very, very exciting for sure. So, again, 9 tackles for him, 2 tackles for a loss, had a great game. Rudy Ford, 6 tackles. Keyshawn Nixon, 5 tackles, 2 passes defended. I felt like Keyshawn had a decent game. I had to go back and watch the tape completely, though. Preston Smith would definitely be my defensive player of the game. 5 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 pass deflection, and also 4 quarterback hits.
And an incredible one-on-one, man-to-man coverage.
Let's go.
Of who? Who was that? That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So don't ever cry about Preston Smith being out in coverage again. I don't want to hear it.
It hit his
I don't want to hear it.
It hit his hands. Imagine he picked that.
Oh my gosh, I know. Can you imagine if he picked that off?
Could you imagine how insufferable I'd be on Twitter if Preston Smith picked the pass off? Boy, I'd be like, that's right.
You'd still be picking me out of my ceiling right now.
Didn't he have the forced fumble sack too? Did they put that in the stat?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they don't have forced fumbles on here, but you're exactly right.
Yeah, he had that.
Yep.
Yeah,
let's see who else. If anybody else had a sack, Kenny Clark had a sack. That's right. Had 2 quarterback hits. Seemed like he had a decent game. JJ Nigbare, of course, had that. Didn't he have a bad penalty? Am I thinking right?
Yeah. Yes, he did.
Yeah. So
he wasn't the only one today, though.
Devontae Wyatt, 1 tackle, 1 quarterback hit. I mean, Devontae Wyatt, first round pick. I think we can all feel comfortable saying he's underperforming, right? Especially against a run. I mean, he's not doing anything against a run. Lucas Van Ness, I don't know how many snaps he played. He only had 1 pass deflection, didn't have a tackle, didn't have a hit, didn't have a sack or anything. I don't even think he had a hurry. But kind of a tough look there. Of course, our boy Anders Carlson went 1 for 1 after the penalty. So the penalty will help his stats live for another day. So
did it have Rashawn on there, Clayton? Did he have half a sack or no? Rashawn?
They've got it listed. I thought he would have. I think I had actually put it down as a half sack for him, but according to ESPN's box score, they have him with 0 sacks.
Gotcha.
So,
Wow.
Yeah. Now that may change. Sometimes we get a tweet the next day and they say, hey, it's been reversed or whatever. He's awarded a half sack, whatever. United Bates, thank you so much. We appreciate you gifting memberships again, like you always do, man. You are absolutely awesome.
Always.
Let's see here. I think this was the one I was going to hit on, Casey. Casey said, well, if you're explaining how, never mind. Hold up a minute. Let's see what this is. All right. Well, if you're explaining how attractive your wife is and then all you can come up with, same for Dylan. Everyone says how great of a guy he is. It's hard to tell jokes through text. Yeah, I'm as guilty as anyone when it comes to A.J. Dillon, man. I'm always like, dude, I want him to be good. I want him to be around in Green Bay, but it's all going to come down to the market, right? That's what it's going to really come into play there. United Bates with the super chat said, I swear football hitting the uprights is the loudest thing in an NFL stadium, LOL. I love it too, man.
Hey, it's either that or it's Mr. Whelan's foot hitting that ball on those punts. My goodness. He rocketed some punts today. At least we got us a punter, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yes, we did. He's got a boot on it. And you know what's crazy is there was one time they got some pressure on him, and it was like he had to hurry up the process and still got a boomer off. I was like, holy cow.
Yeah, that was like 52-yard punt or something on that one.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And he had enough chances. What did we go, 0 for 5 in the first 5 drives or something?
You got plenty.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to have to punt, thank God you have a punter.
At this point, let's get Jay Love to do a quick kick on 2nd down or something and just give him back the ball and just try to catch him off guard. Just change the field possession or something. I mean, we got to play something different here.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So, with that being said, I think we'll wrap it up right there. Let's go around the horn real quick. Again, thank you, everybody, hanging out with us in the chat. Tim, parting thoughts, buddy. Put a nice positive bow on this thing for us.
Well, I already talked about the Preston Smith play today, so
That's all I got.
Playing mirror match press man out there on the tight end.
Yeah. Positive notes. Oh boy. I'll still be a Packer fan tomorrow.
Hey.
Right. No matter what, guys. It's frustrating, but this is what's going to happen. It is what it is. And it will get worse before it gets better, but there's going to be light at the other end of the tunnel. It may not feel like we're going to get a win, but we'll get another win. This team's going to win a football game. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I know it will. So I guess that's my positivity. But yeah, TJ Slayton comes to mind. He certainly looked good today, kind of rounding the turn as being a solid dude inside in that front. And we need that struggling against the run like we do. So I thought TJ played pretty good today. That's a positive note as well. But I say no days off. I say get your butts up early tomorrow, guys. Get to 12:65. Get in the film room. Get whatever PT you need to get done. Get in the training room. Do whatever you have to do to get right and come out and look better next week at home, because you're embarrassing yourselves, and it's an embarrassment to your fans too, man, to come out and just get disrespected in Lambeau repeatedly, man. We got to turn this around. So I hope these guys don't develop that mentality of just being okay with these losses, man. You got to fight your way out of this. So I think hopefully the Packers will do that. And like you said, Clayton, the tape doesn't lie. And we know they're going to be watching. Let's hope they learn, because I'm tired of having the same conversation after every game. And I know a lot of fans are too. So go Pack. Nowhere to go but up from here, guys.
Hey, there it is. That's what we were looking for. By the way, looks like Kansas City is losing to Denver right now, 14-3 somehow, somewhere.
They're elite. They're elite. We got smoked by an elite team. That's what happened.
Hey, guys, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Tim did say it's going to get worse before it gets better. And those of you who know, that's a line from the great movie
Roadhouse.
Emilio, parting thoughts, my man.
Parting thoughts. Let's see. The Lambeau maintenance staff did a great job on the field and the heaters. Everyone looked like they were staying nice and warm out there. We're gonna give him some. Our long snapper was humming that thing back there on kicks and punts, and I was gonna say kick coverage, but that didn't work. We almost got smoked on that. So that's. Chalk Talk's coming up this week, folks. I think we're just going to need to.
I don't want to think about Chalk.
I don't know if that's a positive.
Yeah. Besides that, I don't think I think Elton did pretty good today. If I'm not mistaken, I guess we'll see. I haven't watched it, but I'll hold my breath. And I also missed the first half. And okay, Wild Wings they had 25 TVs and had like 3 games on. And I go, can you switch one of the TVs? And this lady was saying, no, well, I mean, all of them are spoken for. I go, you are replaying the same Cowboys game on 4 different TVs, and they're absolutely demolishing them. Can we not get a little help here? But
unreal.
Yeah, you should have put on the table and said, listen, I need the Packers on the big screen now.
Yeah.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
You got to go in there flexing on them, Emilio. Lie about your age.
I'm going to have to next time.
Unbelievable, man. Well, going into this game, we showed a graphic here. Me and Tim did it during the pregame show. If you win this game, 38% chance you make the playoffs. If you lose, you're down to 12%. So they are now down to 12%, which triggers this.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
Yep. That's
Another
it.
game.
That's it right there.
Yeah. So, hey, listen, we'll be here every week. And, again, the goal is trying to understand what happened and why it happened. So I will go through the grueling process of digging through this tape tomorrow, and we'll try to get you guys a Chalk Talk very, very soon. I don't know what day it'll be.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely want to get Paul Brittle back in here on Thursday, so maybe we can work it in Wednesday. But if you guys want to sit in on it, I kind of like that format too. Tim, last week, Emilio was able to sit in on Chalk Talk. If you guys both want to, we can. or we could try to work around it either way. I should have a little bit extra time off this week because it's going to get cold, Emilio. Be in the 20s down here, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, grass ain't going to grow no more. Now it's just cutting up some leaves and get yourself out of there.
Yeah, get fat.
Yeah.
All winter long, baby.
Hibernate. Time to hibernate.
I'm telling you, dude. Oh, look at Goose. Goose got to do it, man. I ain't got that one anymore.
Oh.
Goose. I'm sorry, man. He said, "Oh, we suck again." Wait, maybe I do. Let's see here. Yeah, look.
Oh no, we suck again.
It's a roller coaster. Yeah, it's a roller coaster, man. I'll tell you what. Look at Paul Robertson trying to get us banned here. Anybody got an illegal link to the stream for the Chiefs?
Oh my gosh.
I love it. All right, we're out of here, guys. We are doing nothing productive now. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Want to give a quick shout out to everybody with the super chat, man. There was a bunch of them. Godsmack, United Bates, Mike Hebring, Togrel trying to get me to say inappropriate things. Badger Trio, Josh Martin, Nick McSwain. Congratulations on being a member for a month, buddy. Appreciate you being a part of the posse. Let's see who else we got here. Carly Ray, we actually got that notification earlier. She's been a member now, I think, 2 months. Really cool stuff. Let's see. I think that's everybody. United Bates, of course. Smug Industries. Yep, that's right. Thank you for the super chat. Again, everybody, you guys are awesome. Man, it is nice to be able to hop in here and just talk ball and be able to kind of vent to each other, right? And again, Jeff, thank you, man. Appreciate you in the chat earlier, kind of fixing that. The goal isn't to get in here and get heated and get smart with each other. It's just let's give our opinions and see if we can figure out exactly what happened and why it happened, right? So that's what we're going to continue to do this year. So appreciate you guys, Tim, Emilio. It was good talking ball with you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.
The power sweep. Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
Tell the tackle to take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, you drive down the first man who is inside. Pull back and tell him to take the first man outside the offensive tackle. No one goes. Go right by them and field inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. So look at this play. What we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.